What's going on, my Latin ones? It's your boy MoashDMC back again. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to be talking about probably one of my favorite characters in all of One Piece. Well, to be honest, I feel as though it's probably a lot of people's favorite character, and it's Doflamingo. But not really what's next for Doflamingo, because I have a couple ideas, but I'll say that for another video. But mainly some of the things, or some things he said, that have made him the staple One Piece villain for years now. So today I'm really gonna be talking about Doflamingo's quotes and my perspective on it. Honestly speaking, the first time we saw Doflamingo, many could already tell this was going to be a character to look out for. I mean, whenever you're willing to wear a flamingo coat, control a man basically like a puppeteer, and strut like you're the main man in the room, it makes you stop and ponder. He has to be the greatest, maybe even a god. And guess what? We fast forward to Wano and we figure out not only is the child of a self-proclaimed god, but it wouldn't be too crazy to say that he's probably one of the best villains that we've seen so far. I mean, he has the iconic glasses, the ear-massaging laugh, and the melodic monologues that make you really stop and think about the grand scope of things, not only in the One Piece world, but in our everyday lives ourselves. So today I want to talk about 5 of Doflamingo's quotes that really sat or resonated with me the most. I was going to rank them, but honestly speaking, just talking about them is way more fitting. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So I want to start off really hot, and this is probably everyone's favorite quote, and this quote is a great way to take a look inside the mind of the man who basically had the One Piece fandom in a chokehold for years in Dressrosa and is still heavily talked about today. So let's set the scene. We're reading Marineford, and some characters we just even got introduced to, we're fully invested in them and their fighting. The angst of the reveal of Ace being Goldie Roger's son, a man that could destroy the world, pulls up from underneath the sea in the Moby Dick. We get to see a Diamond Man, a Phoenix, a man made of magma, giants, ancient giants, and amongst all the chaos that's ensuing, one man is taking it all in euphorically, and with one swift move takes down a giant, still holding on to his very hoardy and iconic laugh. And with all that's going on, he says this: pirates are evil, the Marines are righteous. These terms have always changed throughout the course of history. Kids who have never seen peace and kids who have never seen war have different values. Those who stand at the top determine what's right and what's wrong. This very place is neutral ground. Justice will prevail, you say? But of course it will. Whoever wins this war becomes justice. Even reading it now, it still gives me chills. Of course, some of us just look at it in the aspect of the story, but truly take a step back and mirror it to your own life. I, for one, have the luxury of being able to click record and make videos such as this one with a peace of mind and a light heart. But to be honest, that one thing I can't do is say that everyone else can do the same. What I value is my free time, my creative endeavors, the luxuries I possess, but that's only to name a few. One thing that's changed throughout time is the access to the internet and how we can freely go in and obtain information about things that are going on around the world. Where I value these things, some may value the existence of dinner that they've lacked for a few days. Peace of mind knowing that for one day they're truly at peace, or maybe even coming home to loved ones. The spectrum is so broad. Through my life that I've lived, we've been at war, but I can never speak on the experience of being at war or having my home turn into a battlefield or be near one. No one can say anyone is truly just for the actions they do, because everyone has a reason to do what they do and feel how they feel. How can another person say that someone's wrong but they've never actually walked in the shoes of that person? And when it comes to justice, unfortunately, the ones who are the victors can determine what they did was right and how the order of things shall go moving forward. And on that note, let's jump over to Dofi's second quote. There's a difference in the look of an ordinary vagabond and in that of a determined man. I mean, I can't tell you how much I enjoy this quote, really. The reason is because I apply it to myself more often than not. Take a moment one day and truly try to capture yourself in different moments when you feel determined or accomplished, or when you feel lost or defeated. They say eyes are the door to the soul, and I feel though that's sort of what Oda was going for here. You can never really tell with Doflamingo because all he could do was smile and laugh regardless of the situation, and 2, because he always wore glasses. Even after defeat, we still didn't get to see his eyes. A vagabond being someone who wanders without cause or purpose versus a person who knows what they want to do and how to go about it. They may seem like the same person when you look at it, but they can't hide the fact in their eyes. Tying it back to the story, and yes, there'll be manga spoils up to chapter 1041, so I suggest you skip ahead. We've seen how Kaido and Big Mom were depicted when they were younger with the light in their eyes, and even Kaido stating to Luffy, no matter the situation, it looks like the light never leaves your eyes. Whereas the current Kaido and Big Mom tend to have their eyes shaded out, almost looking like they lost their purpose or a way to fulfill their dream. And now jumping ahead to number 3, and this one may be a little bit off from people's expectation, but this was a conversation between him and Suru on the ship. He says, I was the one holding the reins on all the monsters in this world. You shouldn't have taken me down. Mark my words, you will rue this mistake. This one's a bit more pretentious than the other two because we know with all things that balance power, there has to be something to keep it from losing control. In One Piece with Doflamingo, it was the different factions he had ties to, the underworld, the warlords, the connections to the world government, and even the connections to the Yonko. Think of it like this, or more so imagine it like this. You had a friend group, but the basis of that friend group was centered around one person and they suddenly left. After that, things got dicey and you all may not be as close as you thought because you all became a group because of that one person. Or how about this? The power in the world now relies heavily on how people support it and how others view the ones at the top, and how the people at the top have connections to others. You see, world leaders are the ones that hold the reins of power in the world, but if they were to be stripped from those positions, what do you think would happen then? I mean, I really don't have the answer for you, but that's just a food for thought. Don't get too deep into thought because we're moving on to number 4, and it's very simple, but it's magnificent. And it reads, the biggest magic shows often have the simplest of tricks, law. To me, I think this one ties a lot into the other 3 because people's perception is their reality. Oftentimes, we tend to grasp the idea of a situation based on what we see at face value, and that's where the magic is made. Sleight of hand, misdirection, and red herrings, all things that make us lose perception of what we thought we knew. And Doflamingo was such an extraordinaire when it came to this, and I love how it played so well with his character. He had ties all the way under with the underworld and all the way at the top with the celestial dragons. Accompanied by the string devil fruit and him playing the role of the puppet master, the bigger and broader the spectacle, the easier it is to deceive and manipulate. So simple, but yet so effective. And lastly, I want to end on a more prominent note of how Doflamingo really was. He said, there is no safe place on a battlefield. Again, short and sweet. It lends more in line to the type of ruthless nature Doflamingo possessed. This also reminds me of another famous quote, all is fair in loving war, meaning that by any means win, but also once you're there is no hiding from the battle at hand. And that just ties into the first time Doflamingo came back to Dressrosa and used King Daldo to slay the citizens, basically instilling fear into the people with the very people they looked up to for protection. Truthfully, Doflamingo is a character that is unrivaled in the trials, whether physically or emotionally he plays forward for the Straw Hats and others. But one thing about him is that he's going to be laughing regardless. But if you guys have a Doflamingo quote that I did not say today, or even if you agree with some of the quotes I mentioned today, please leave a comment down below. And like I say at the end of every single video, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell button to come back next time and remain enlightened, y'all. Peace.